Hello, my name is Yun Mo. I'm an instructional designer at Renton Technical College. I've been working with Guava Jordan of a Washington State Community and Technical Colleges. She's been leading this project of a faculty AI learning series. Today, we're going to be talking about vibe coding. And first of all, a quick disclaimer. We'll be talking about a number of tools and platforms today. We are not endorsing or anything. We are just using them as an example. Nothing more, nothing less. So let's start. So we're going to be talking about vibe coding, what it is and what it can do, and how they can be applied into teaching and learning. First of all, since this is a very flexible and expansive tool and idea, the first thing that I want to invite you to consider is just dream big. The tools are very flexible, and however, the key thing is your imagination, identifying your needs or your ideas, and then how convert them into something workable applications. And but here, the key thing that I want to introduce is that this is a learning tool. It's not necessarily a tool for solutions, even though it can and it will provide the solutions. But I want you to actually focus on learning about how this tool works and what could be implications of this new tool, basically enabling any user to come up with an idea for a solution, and then they can actually create an application to solve any kind of problems or challenges. So dream big, think about what you need and what you want, and then apply that into vibe coding. So vibe coding is basically generating computer coding using natural language. You could type into the computer, or you can speak to the computer that can understand I'm talking about LLM, can understand and then process it to generate some prototypes. And once that is done, then you can edit it, improve it, and have multiple versions and iterations and so on. There are many tools out there that you can use. Cursor, for example, Lovable Bolt. There are a number of things. For this workshop, we're going to be using Google Gemini and Opal. In Gemini, we're going to be using something called Canvas. That is not learning management system Canvas, but actual part of the Gemini, which is large language model by Google. All right, so I'm going to show you some examples, first of all, what the vibe coding applications can do. So let's see. So I'm going to just go through somewhat random order, but here is a platform called Opal that's part of the Google. And you can just dictate or type it in any idea, and then it'll generate an application. For example, let's say you want to create an image for your Canvas course. In Canvas, I'm talking about back to a learning management system. On the dashboard, you have a list of courses, and then you want to add a little image symbolizing the course. So that can be done just by running this application. But the reason why I wanted to show you this Opal is that it actually gives you some visual representations of how this app actually works. So for example, here on the left side, it talks about the inputs like course number, course title, and any kind of an image description that user wants. And then it starts, next step in the process is generating the image and then putting out the outcome. So let me just quickly show you how this app works. So by the way, this is a developer side here, and then you can edit any part of this component by either typing it in here or talking to it, so it will update it. So let me go ahead and run this app. So go ahead and start. So let's say this, it asks enter course number. So let's say Chem 101, enter, and then full course title. See, Introduction to Chemistry. And describe the image, symbolic image. Let's say chemistry lab. And then go ahead and run it. And it's thinking, and then as you can see, the first part is done, getting the input, and now it's generating, and then creating a title, and integrating into image. So basically converting all this input, and then generating image, and then combining the words and letters with the image, and then now it's putting it out. So there it is. So here is the output. Again, this is not necessarily the most fancy image generator, but the key thing is that you can kind of see how vibe coding works with the procedural steps of input, analysis, and process, and output. So that's a great tool for not only for you, but also your students when you want to introduce this tool as way to generate some prototypes for students' projects, and they can actually generate applications using vibe code, and then they can actually add more components just by adding this, and they can play with it. So again, the focus I think should be two. One, generating something workable application. But the primary focus should be about learning how this coding works, this application works, and then how this could be utilized for creating some kind of prototypes for student projects and other idea realization. So that's Opal, Microsoft Opal. It's a great learning tool. And another the tool that I want to introduce is Gemini. Gemini has tools, and click on here and use Canvas. So Canvas is kind of its own vibe coding or coding environment, and it put the contents in a package. So you can create a Canvas. It's almost like a Canvas a learning management system. It contains all the things that you want to work on. So that's a great tool. So let me see. So here is one example of vibe coding that I generated, vibe coding application that I generated using Google Gemini Canvas. And this uses a PDF that I created and provided here. So this has some sort of a knowledge base. And then it would create a storybook based on around Latino history in Washington State. And it generates HTML and HTML page and JSON and that sort of kind of things. You can kind of see what's happening behind the scene. And then let me just go ahead and run it. So what would you like to learn about Latino history in Washington State? So let's see, who were the first Latino, let's say, people in the state? And then click on read book. So it's going to generate a storybook based on this PDF file that I provided here. So the content is accurate. It would not hallucinate. Well, there's always a chance, but the chance of hallucination is highly limited. Okay, so here's a storybook. Here, have you ever wondered about the first people who arrived in Washington State? That's a page 1. And then let's move on to the page 2. and page 3. By the way, you may wonder why this content seems so simple. Well, because the way that I designed this app, I requested it to be a storybook for certain age group, which means that I could have put requirements or guidelines as like a college level reading materials. So the content will be reflecting that request. So you can see, yeah, that's I would say that's quite amazing image here. So you can use this for your class, again, depending on your audience, but you can download it here, and then you can read another one. So you can generate another one. So who are the leading Latina politicians? And it's processing. So while it is processing, oh, it's already here. So it generated another storybook. And just like that, let me just quickly show you where I got this PDF file for. It's a knowledge base that this application uses. So for that, I used Notebook LM. So I started with simple prompt and did some research using Notebook LM. And then from here, I generated PDF content by just copying and saving to a PDF. Then I put that into, oops, where did it go? Yeah, put it in here. So I basically attached the knowledge base. All right, so let me just quickly, there are other examples. I'll be sharing this PowerPoints with you. So you can go ahead and click on slide number 7, and you can click on these links that you can explore on your own. And let me show you some other things. Let's see. So here is an example of Podcast Pro. I used Opal, Google Opal, and this app is to help anyone to create or start a podcast. So what is the topic of your expertise? Well, I'm going to just pretend that I'm a pop music enthusiast. And what is target audience? I would say young adults. And what's the name of the podcast? Young Pop. And it's thinking and processing. And it will generate something like this. In fact, it created a web page. As you can see, equipments, content strategies, audio editing, publishing, and launching. So with just one prompt, it generated the whole website. So that is another great example. So in terms of what type of output you can think of is that it can generate files. In this case, this is a composition of files, HTML files. And here, this is I believe you can download it as a PDF. So you generate an image and text. There are apps that you can create that can process things, and that will be the outcome. And then here's another example of app that I created. It created a whole website. Again, it's like let's say you're teaching about Scrum project management framework. And here is lecture and lesson contents. So you can create a website for your lessons, again, with just one prompt. And this is another example of a flashcard. again, you can do this with using other tools, but you can also do it just by using vibe code. So here's definition, keyword, next one, and so on. The content that I provided is a list of these terminologies, and then it actually got the actual definition from the web. So it could be correct or slightly or incorrect, but you can edit that on your own. Here's another example for geology or geography, depending on what subject. Here's a Washington River Explorer. And so you can click on it. This is the longest river, I believe, in Washington State, Columbia River. Here are some stacks. And I can click on this one. This is Snoqualmie River, again, stacks, and so on. Skagit River, Snake River. That's part of the Columbia River. Anyway, so that's that. Oh, here's another fun one. I created a music piano teaching app. So it's about a one-hand version of Someone Like You by Adele. So here the first code. So you get the idea. So this yellow highlights indicates the finger placement out of the keyboard. So again, the limit is pretty much your imagination or your students' imagination of what kind of solutions that you want to work on or ideas that you want to expand. My suggestion is not necessarily focus on too much on the actual output, but learn about the process of developing, because even though you may develop a perfect application today, it may not be as perfect as you want tomorrow. And then as you develop, enhance the application, your expectation also will be expanding. So the core concept here is learning how to iterate, how to design, how to evolve. So that's the key thing. So let's quickly run through the 5 fundamentals in vibe coding. This is something that I came up with in a way. So here, the first part is the thinking. So what do you want to work on? What do you want to improve? And then you think about the logical, structural framework of the solution that you're looking for. So think about why you need it, what do you want to solve, and then somehow convert that ideas into language, in this case, English, that large language model can understand. So that could be, you could dictate it or you can write it in text. And then you can also think about what kind of backend stuff that you may want to incorporate it. I would say initially keep it simple, but later on you may want to say, hey, I want to add some knowledge base or even connect databases and so on. So that's a definitely high-end comprehensive process. But with the advancement of vibe coding, you can actually do it. And then without actually knowing anything about computer programming, let alone computer science, you can ask the AI about how to figure it out. So again, the goal is not necessarily making a perfect application, but gaining the understanding, gaining the experience, and gaining the skill set to develop and iterate new application using vibe coding. So that's the main focus. And then you can also learn about version control. I would definitely recommend you to start something simple and add more components as you move forward. I discourage you to put everything all at once. Just incremental process is definitely recommendable. And then you can kind of minimize the complexity of the problems as you move along. So you can focus on one problem at a time and then increment the comprehensiveness. And also you think about debugging. If you can fix it within a step or two, that's good. But I will not just keep digging into deeper and deeper to fix one problem. If does not solve within a reasonable time, just leave it and then start again. Start new. So that is much more efficient way of using your time. And then also think about knowledge base that you want to provide. So that is also something that you want to take spend some time researching, creating the contents that you can feed that into the application. All right, so the best practices. I think I already mentioned a few things here already. Start with AI. You can ask LLM to kind of guide you through initial stages of a vibe coding process and use that as a design partner. And then iterate small steps. So again, don't expect to come up with a very comprehensive prompt that will create a perfect application at once. It's not necessarily, even if they may work, it's not the best way. So iterate small steps and learn about how the programming works. And that's the key thing that I want you to take it out. And then also spend some time on developing the knowledge base. I'm talking about the knowledge base and data that these apps can utilize, rather than just depending on LLM to go out to the internet or their algorithms to come up with the contents, because that increases the chance of hallucination, or it's very difficult to control. It's harder to control the scope or the quality of the output. And here are some resources that you want to take. You can learn about vibe coding. You can take classes and even get certified. So here are the options, and then some of them are actually free, and you should take a look at it. And also these platforms like a Lovable, Deep, and some vibe coding platforms, other than the one that we talked about here, they do offer free entry accounts, so you can kind of try them out. And if you are looking for more data to utilize for your applications, here are some resources. And if you want to just play with it, that's the best way. Just come up with any idea and see what it does. And then let's see. Let me just give a quick demonstration using Gemini. Let's see. And so I log into my Google Gemini. This is, even though I have a paid account, lowest level paid account, you can use a free one as well. It's just a matter of how much you can use it per day. The quality is the same. The first step is you're making sure that you select the tools and then click on Canvas. And then let's write a prompt. Okay, so let's say generate an app that generates a website for a lesson. So I apologize, I use the same word twice. So, okay, I'll say build an app that generates a website. So basically, I'm looking for a bunch of HTML files for web pages, and for a college course. So I'm providing what I want as an output and some guidance. So it's a lesson, and this is what level? College level. So the LLM will understand what kind of contents, the degree of comprehensive, and the details of the content. And first, I'm going to talk about the process. First, ask what course it is. What course and the lesson it should be. Ask if this is for a lecture, lab, or both. Yeah, I'm going to just keep it simple. I can add more layers later on. So like what kind of, how much content, how detailed, or if you want image heavy contents or not, infographics, and so on. So let me just go ahead and just start with this. And then I can choose different options of Gemini, Fast, Thinking, Pro. So for this one, I'm going to just use Fast because it uses a less amount of tokens. So therefore it's better for the environment. And pretty much this is for learning purposes. So I'm not looking for actual final product. All right, so it already did it. So okay, I can certainly help to build it. Okay. Name of the course and the lecture or lab. Okay, so name of the course is Bicycle Shop Operations 101. The course is Bicycle Shop Operation. The lesson should be safety. All right, so let's go ahead and run it. All right, so I see that it's creating programming code, and it's telling me what it's doing. And I think it kind of misunderstood what I was talking about, what I wanted. Actually, I wanted to actually create an app to interact with an instructor and ask about the course and lessons and so on. But it did ask me, it's a part of creating this application, if that makes sense. All right, so boom, it's done. That was fast. Bicycle shop operation, BSO 101, bicycle and workshop safety and risk management. And then lab exercise. Oh my God, it's got objectives and checklists and AI shop assistant, safety. Okay, so let me just edit here. I want the app to ask an instructor of what course and lesson they want before generating the lesson website. So this is a second iteration. This is a version 2 of that. So that's what I meant by the version control. Start something simple and see what LLM produces, and then you can go to edit mode. So it's thinking. All right, so it did. You can return to set up the screen. Okay. All right, so that's interesting. So we'll see. Course name, Baking 101. And let's see, cupcakes. Generate a portal. Okay, that was quick. And core concepts, learn about terminology, definition, industry standards, workflow, and then lab exercise, All right, so it's interesting that it did not put any kind of details, but just change the name. So let's say I want the website to contain lesson materials for a college level course. So this is a third version, and see if that reflects the change and how it does. Again, the whole purpose of this, the main purpose of this is learning how to code application using vibe coding with LLM, not necessarily actual working flawlessly application. So let's see, this time I want to do, let's say, history, American History 101, post World War II. Culture. So it's taking a little longer time than the second iteration. Okay, so it has more content. And lab exercise, objectives. All right, AI tutors, post-gen. Okay, so add a lab manual. So anyway, so I'm going to stop here because I'm seeing myself that I'm really getting into this. So you can kind of see how this iteration works step by step, and then kind of see what it does and how it responds and so on. So I hope this will give you some idea what vibe coding is, and I hope you get to have some fun and maybe introduce this concept to your students working on their projects, personal projects, or even group projects to generate some kind of application, not necessarily as a definite solution, but a good presentable prototype. So then if they really want to, then they can dive deeper on their own time. All right, so thank you very much. I really appreciate your attention here, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you.